Hey guys, if you're watching this, it's because you're looking for an answer on healing the codependency, anxious attachment, and nice guy syndrome that you're suffering from in your marriage. There's this deep sense in codependence that one day our spouses or our wives or girlfriends will suddenly see what great men we are. We want this feeling of vindication and validation, hoping that they're going to recognize what we're doing. But the truth is, us trying to make their lives perfect is actually its subtle form of manipulation. This is very dangerous because they can feel that manipulation and we continue to feel like we're doing the right thing and we're not. So how do you do it differently? Here's a big message and theme I want you to take away from this. And that is, it's time to stop consuming and it's time to start acting. What I mean by that is that often we think if we just read the right book, watch the right video, or consume the right material, then suddenly our life will get better. But we know that faith without works is dead. In other words, you can look at content on getting in shape, you can read plans on getting better abs, but until you start to put in the reps, nothing changes. And this is especially true in relationships. I've read all the books. I can tell you none of that information changes me. There wasn't some thing I read in there that suddenly waved a magic wand over my brain and made me act differently. What made me act differently was me deciding that I didn't want to live in the old ways anymore. So if you've been suffering from codependency, if you look at your wife, or if it feels like you're always walking on eggshells around here, nothing changes unless you change. You cannot continue to think that by acting the same way, she is going to suddenly change herself. I want you to remember these three main ideas. Number one, you need a plan. You have to have a plan for what you're going to do. Number two, you have to have things that go into that plan. And there's basically two main things that are going to go into this new way of living. Number one is recognizing how your own nervous system is jacked up from your past, namely your childhood, your adolescence, and your young adult life, where you thought if you did everything perfect, she would love you more. And especially where you start to look at her face and every little subtle tone of her voice for validation. Man, that goes way back into your childhood. And the way to fix that is to be very conscious of what your nervous system is doing. And then in the face of that consciousness, in the face of noticing what's going on, doing something different. So instead of trying to serve her or make her life perfect or remove the stress from her life, do something for yourself. Take supremely good care of the basics. Be a man among men. Be around other dudes. Be honest about what you're going through. So this kind of pillar number one is like take care of yourself. And there are a million ways to skin a cat, like get in shape, be among men, do good things for yourself, pursue purpose, have hobbies, stop making her the center of your life. The second thing, and this is something I think most coaches won't want to talk about, and I think most men are maybe afraid to face in their lives, and that is you need some kind of power outside of yourself. Some men choose to call that God. I'm a person of faith. I'm Catholic. I grew up evangelical. I actually left the church altogether. I was agnostic. And then through about a 12-year process, came back. I'm not saying that that's your path. I've seen people find a power outside of themselves in groups of men and other places. I don't know how it works. All I know is that it works. When men lean on the mystery, when Carl Jung says, act as if it's true, things begin to work in accordance with that. When people start to look at coincidences as having meaning, there is meaning. And maybe all it is a way for a guy to hone back into his intuition and to continue to use those things to take action. This is a big piece that men often overlook. And I think, especially now, when men think, I just need to be strong enough and I need to be willful enough, then it'll happen. But look at your life. Are you strong enough? Is your life the result of your strength? Is your life the result of your will? I'll say it again. You need some kind of power outside of yourself. I choose to call that power God, and I have a plan around my faith that has helped me intensely. I've also seen men who have a vague notion of what God is. And because they lean on it, it still works. So lean on that. So you take the plan, you fill those things up with a daily action step of like you're taking supremely good care of the basics and then communicating with God and somehow. Maybe that's through meditation, maybe that's through listening, maybe that's through prayer, something, and be in community and your life will change. But your actions have to precede the change, and they have to precede that change for a long time. So think of it again as fitness and put in the reps day after day after day. When you feel no change, when she's angry at you, when she's saying that you are the cause of her problems, you have to take responsibility for yourself. Something in you caused you to pick her, and something in you will need to take full responsibility of your life. Only then will your marriage potentially have a chance at getting whole again. When you take responsibility for yourself, when you are a man among men, and when you lean on a power greater than yourself. Thanks for listening, guys. Stay tuned in. Don't forget to like and subscribe. Also, follow me on Instagram. And if you need some resources, check out the links below. Take care.